Imagine accidentally spending a $10 bill to later find out that that bill is worth a lot more money than $10, and I'm talking hundreds or thousands of dollars more. That's the reality, and you have to be careful and make sure that you're not getting scammed and ripped off if you ever go to sell your rare $10 bill. Without wasting any more time, let's just hop right into this video. So one of the most important things you need to know about a bill is that condition is very important, and on top of that, let's look at these 5 bills really quick. You can see that the serial numbers are nearly identical on every single one except the last digit. This is considered to be a sequential or consecutive run of bills. That can increase the value of the bills. Let's hop into this next note that sold for $1,610. Now imagine having this bill with 4 others that have a consecutive serial number. Having those all together will increase the value of the bills. It's really important to know that 1928 was the first year they ever issued these $10 bills for the United States. You can also see that there is an A after the date of 1928. Depending on which series you have will depend on how many notes were produced for that specific run. It's also really important to know that how important condition really is. This one was graded by PMG a 65 EPQ. That means there's no folds or anything whatsoever on the bill. The highest grade we can achieve in grading is 70, and this one's only 5 points away from the perfect grade of 70. All these things combined allowed it to sell for $1,610. This bill sold for $2,280. Now look at the color on this bill, very beautiful, vibrant. This is considered to be a light green seal note. You can see the seal on the right and the serial numbers are a light green color compared to the normally darker colored seal. Light green seals will not increase the value dramatically, but they will quite a bit for the collectors that enjoy the light green seals because they are less common than dark green seals. The biggest reason why this sold for $2,280 is because it's a 1928 C bill that has a PMG graded 66, and that's pretty much it for this bill. If you have one of these 1928 $10 bills that's in really good condition, you could have a bill with a lot of money. Wait, 90% of you that watch the videos are still not subscribed. So you better subscribe right now so we can keep the lights on. Wait, no, I was kidding. So here's a modern bill. This note sold for $2,280. It graded by PMG a 66 EPQ. Remember, the highest grading is 70. This is a solid number 4 serial number bill. Depending on how fancy the serial number is will dictate how much money the bill is worth, even if it's a modern bill like this. I say modern as in this is a newer style bill. All these things combined allowed it to sell for this much money. This $10 bill sold for $2,350, and here's why. So probably the first thing you notice on this bill is the red stamps saying Specimen on the front and the back of the bill. That Specimen stamp is one of the main reasons why it sold for so much money. Also, it's a very high grade of a 67, but grade isn't as important here. You may be asking, what is a Specimen bill? To keep it brief, essentially the BEP issued specimen notes to different countries' banks so they could have an example of what a genuine bill looks like in case they ever received US currency in a different location. These are not legal tender, meaning that you cannot spend them because they are specimen notes. Now you have to watch out because there are people out there that will try to alter a bill and make it a specimen note when in reality it's not. This is not advice whatsoever, but I would say that's a bad idea. I would not do that, especially on anything that's US federal government property, which paper money pretty much is. Now you can tell that you have a genuine example by the serial number. If the serial number is looking like this, going from 2 to 9, or if the serial number is simply missing, or if the serial number is a solid 0 serial number. These are all the specimen note examples that I personally seen. I've seen more specimen notes than the majority of people out there, but these were never really meant to go out into collectors' hands. What probably happened is people in different countries that worked at banks might have just taken these out of the banks and then sold them to collectors. That's probably what happened. But again, if you have a specimen note, make sure you find someone trustworthy to sell it to, or just hold on to it for future value. I can't tell you whether these are going to go up or down in value in the future. This is not financial advice whatsoever. I'm just some coin and currency nerd. But again, if you have this bill, it's going to be worth a lot more money than just $10. So this bill looks pretty beat up, doesn't it? This one was graded by PCGS a very fine 20, and it sold for $5,875. Not going to spend a ton of time because you can probably see what's going on here. This is a serial number 1 star note. Serial number 1s are the note that everyone wants to go for. It's the first note on the sheet for a new set of numbers, and regardless of the condition, this is the bill that people want. It's important to know though that this bill was out in circulation. This passed many people's hands before someone found it and said, hey, this is a really rare note. If the person would have found this without any folds on it and kept it safe, it would have been worth a lot more money than almost $6,000 what it sold for. This bill sold for $14,950, and and here's why. So this is a numeral type $10 bill. You can tell it's a numeral type by the number 1. You're also going to see those number 1s in 4 different locations around the bill. And lastly, you can tell if you have a numeral type if the number matches the letter at the start of the serial number. That's a cool little trick there that not many people know. So you see the number 1 in the seal at the left, and then also A is the first letter in the alphabet. If this was a numeral 2 instead of a 1, the serial number prefix would start with a B because that's the second letter in the alphabet. But essentially, this is a really rare note because it has a star and it's from 1928 and it graded so highly by PMG and it allowed it to sell for $14,950. So this is a serial number 1 bill. Not much to say here. It graded very highly by PCGS. If you have a serial number 1 bill, it's going to be worth a lot of money because this one sold for $17,625. Same thing, serial number 1, but this is an old note. This is a 1934 $10 light green seal bill, and this one graded by PCGS, a 65 PPQ, sold for $21,600. So this is a bill we've all been waiting for. This is a $10 bill from 1950. Now, if you look at this bill, I mean, this bill graded at a 53 and it sold for $56,400. Now, when you're looking at it, it looks really toned, really beat up in a bad way, not the best condition. It was probably stored in a bad location, allowing it to get stained like this. Now, this is one of my favorite types of currency bills. This is what collectors call a double denomination error. Some people would call this an $11 bill because the front of the bill is $10 and the back of the bill is $1. Now, the first thing I think of on this bill is that someone out there is going to think that they're smart and they're going to try to shave the bill in half and stick a $1 bill back on the bill. People do this, and it's not something I advise to do because you should not be defacing US federal currency. But a double denomination error like this, if you ever have one denomination like this, like a 10 on the front and a 1 on the back, again, that's called a double denomination error. If you have anything like that whatsoever, and it's a genuine bill, it's been authenticated by a third-party company like PCGS or PMG, you're in for quite a treat because these bills bring a lot of money. This one sold for $56,400. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.